All right, let's talk about how everything gets made. Seriously. We're going to pull back the curtain on the three fundamental ways we build the physical world around us. Everything from a single custom gear to the millions of phones in all our pockets. So how do you build for just one person versus building for millions? Let's dive in.
I mean, just think about it for a second. You've got this one-of-a-kind part for a very specific machine. And then you've got a smartphone, one of literally millions that are all exactly the same. They can't possibly be made the same way, right? So what are the systems that actually bring these totally different things to life?
So, here's our game plan for today. First, we'll get on the same page with a key concept that covers everything. Then, we're going to meet the three main characters in the story of modern manufacturing. And finally, we'll put them all side by side to see exactly how you choose the right tool for the job.
Okay, first things first. We need to understand the world we're playing in, and that world is called discrete production.
It actually sounds more complicated than it is. The idea is simple. If you can count the final products, one car, 2 phones, 3 chairs, then you're looking at discrete production. It's all about making individual, separate items. And it is the foundation for almost everything you own and use, every single day.
Now, inside this world of making countable things, you've really got 3 main stars of the show: the job shop, the flow shop, and cell production. And it turns out the huge difference between all of them, well, it really boils down to just one surprisingly simple thing.
That's it. Seriously, it all comes down to the sequence of steps. Think of it like this. Is the path the product takes through the factory flexible and changing, or is it a single, straight, unchangeable line? This one idea is the key that unlocks everything else. And this lays it out perfectly. On one side, you have these methods where the order of operations can totally change depending on what you're making. And on the other side, you've got this rigid, locked-in, one-way street. So let's start with the most flexible of them all. Welcome to the job shop. The best way to think about this is like a high-tech, custom workshop built for unique, one-off projects.
A job shop absolutely shines when you need to make many different kinds of things, but just a few of each. The whole mantra here is variety over volume. You're not making a million of the same thing, you're making one of a million different things.
Yeah, we are talking about highly specialized items here. Complex parts for an airplane, a custom-built machine for another factory, or the specific molds that are used to create other plastic products. This is not the kind of stuff you just pick up off a shelf.
Okay, so to really see this flexibility in action, let's imagine we're making something called Product A. It needs to be cut, then drilled, and then finally bent into shape. Simple enough, right? A logical order. But the interesting part is what happens next with a totally different product. For Product B, the order completely flips. It gets cut, sure, but then it needs to be bent before any holes are drilled. In a job shop, that's no big deal. The product is just sent to the right machines in whatever order is needed. This ability to change the sequence on the fly, that's its superpower. But, and this is a big but, that superpower comes with a massive headache: scheduling. I mean, just try to imagine you're juggling hundreds of different orders, and each one has its own unique path through the factory. Figuring out which machine gets which job at what time, it is an unbelievably complex puzzle. It's like a giant game of Tetris where the pieces are always changing. Okay, now let's do a complete 180 and look at the total opposite philosophy. If the job shop is a custom workshop, the flow shop is the classic, iconic, powerhouse assembly line. A flow shop is designed to do one thing, or maybe a very small number of things incredibly well and incredibly fast. Here, it is all about volume over variety. This should look pretty familiar, right? This is the world of mass production. Putting cars together, building thousands of identical refrigerators, bottling millions of Cokes, these are all perfect examples of a flow shop in action. Remember our process steps? Well, in a flow shop, that order is literally set in stone. The cutting machine is physically bolted to the floor before the bending machine, which is bolted down before the drilling machine. Every single product follows this exact same path. No exceptions. It is a one-way street, period. So the main challenge here isn't scheduling different jobs, it's balancing the line itself. Think about it. If the drilling step takes 60 seconds, but the bending step only takes 30, you've got a huge problem. The bending station is just sitting there idle half the time, and a massive traffic jam, a bottleneck, forms at the drilling station. The entire system is only as fast as its slowest part. So we've got extreme flexibility on one side and extreme efficiency on the other.
But what if you need a little bit of both? Well, that's where our third method comes in. It's a really clever hybrid called cell production.
The idea here is actually pretty genius. You basically create these little mini factories inside the main factory. Each one of these cells has all the machines and the skilled workers it needs to produce a whole family of similar products. So inside the cell, it kind of works like a mini assembly line, but the factory as a whole can have tons of different cells all making different things.
This approach is absolutely perfect for products that have some variety but are still made in pretty large numbers. Think about all the different models of a smartphone or a printer. They're similar enough to be made by one dedicated team, but just different enough that a super rigid assembly line wouldn't work very well.
So the challenge here is a totally different kind of scheduling. It's about being a smart matchmaker, intelligently figuring out which orders get assigned to which cells based on what that cell is good at. The whole game is about optimizing that assignment to keep everything running as smoothly as possible.
Okay, we've met all three faces of modern manufacturing. So now, let's put them side by side and make the differences crystal clear, because picking the right one is one of the most important decisions any manufacturing business will ever make.
And there you have it, the whole story in one shot. The Job Shop gives you incredible flexibility for custom work, but you pay for it with nightmare-level scheduling. The Flow Shop gives you amazing efficiency for mass production, but it locks you into one single path. And cell production sits right in that sweet spot, giving you a mix of both worlds, but with its own unique puzzle to solve. At the end of the day, there is no single best method. It is always about matching the process to the product.
And you know, that leaves us with a really fascinating question to chew on. As we all demand more and more customized products, personalized cars, bespoke electronics, will the future start to favor the flexibility of the job shop and cell production, or will the brute force efficiency of the classic assembly line always have its place? The answer to that is going to shape the things we all buy and use for decades to come.